Welcome. Take it up with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Mike Gerardi, who's the VP of Sales at Sigma Computing. Hi, Mike. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jessica. Great to be here.
I know Sigma Computing is in the BI space. You're enabling companies to get insights much faster with your platform. And wanted to talk to you about how the technology is enabling a lot of companies to deal with the current crisis, whether they're in supply chain or in the healthcare. If you could share with us what you're seeing, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So, Sigma is a new BI entrant, so to speak, relatively new. We've been in the market for a couple of years. And the idea behind Sigma is really to leverage the world of the cloud data warehouse. So technologies like Snowflake and Google BigQuery, Redshift, those companies have changed the whole cloud data warehouse space in the way that companies interact with data and experience data. Something that some of these cloud data warehouses offer is the ability to share data really, really easily, which is a problem in legacy data warehouses. Snowflake in particular has something called the data exchange. And what they have put out there on their data exchange via a company called Star Schema is an active COVID data store, right? Where they're constantly updating the latest and greatest regarding the outbreak, where things are, et cetera. So something like Sigma, like you said, our core value proposition is to compress time to insights, where we can interact directly with the data tables of a cloud data warehouse. So where Snowflake can bring this data forward very quickly, the COVID data sets, Sigma can interact with it, and you can spin up data set and viewpoints within minutes or hours versus weeks or months in legacy BI tools. So what we've seen, and we've done a couple webinars on, is just that, where companies who, like we were talking about, have retail, supply chain, healthcare, and may want to start doing contingency planning quickly and modeling quickly. We offer a spreadsheet interface that interacts directly with those data sets, very large data sets, so companies can ask questions of the data and model accordingly to prepare and for this crisis and to succeed in this crisis.
So for example, if you're aware of where the viruses are affecting the most, say New York, and starts expanding out, you can then model to see what kind of supply, shifting the supplies from one area that's not as affected to an area that's a lot more affected.
Yeah.
And then the reverse can happen with the, say, testing. Once the testing supplies is more readily available and it gets distributed, you can model the requirements for the supply and the services according to, like, maybe the number of people in the town and population.
Exactly, right? So at the outbreak of the crisis, the idea was, let's look at the areas that are going to be most affected and maybe start scaling down spend or supply chain delivery to those areas, and up. If you're like a conglomerate type company, has a lot of different business lines, I'm gonna put my resources, marketing dollar spend, whatever, to another area of business that's less affected, so that we can potentially balance this out over time. And then as the outbreak starts to lessen and we start seeing the numbers start declining and the graphs moving in the downward direction, we can start pointing our resources back towards those areas that were originally affected. So yeah, it's just a way to very quickly model scenarios. And again, in an interface that people are familiar with, which is a spreadsheet. So you're looking at huge data sets, billions of rows potentially, and you're modeling it just like you would in Excel.
So does that mean that people who are not very technical can use your solution?
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea. At the end of the day, the language of data warehouses typically is SQL, right? At least in the modern data warehouses, it's SQL. So people who don't know how to write that code are reliant on others to code data sets, bring them forward, and then potentially build out dashboards that become meaningful. But the nature of a dashboard really is to ask the next question. So if you're relying on those people, especially when you're in a crisis situation like this, if you're relying on resources that are already tapped and become even more tapped in these crises, then there's a chance that, or a more likely chance, that you're not getting the data that you need to answer the questions. So what Sigma provides is, yes, we have dashboard interfaces, but the real key is allowing users who don't know how to code to interact directly with large data sets without having to write any SQL. SQL does the writing of SQL, or Sigma does the writing of SQL for you. Right?
I see.
So machine-generated, optimized for the data warehouse SQL that's created via spreadsheet interactions by business users.
Okay, that sounds great. Now, do you find that given the crisis now, you are still getting those deals that have been in the pipeline? and this is something that people are leveraging a lot more, or how has it impacted your revenue and pipeline?
Yeah, no, obviously great question that all sales leaders are grappling with right now. It's interesting, the stuff that was in late stage pipeline for us, where we've been evaluated and selected, and we're moving through procurement type processes, those deals for us actually accelerated when this happened, because the technical champions at the companies had embraced the idea that I've just been talking about, that, hey, they can move faster with Sigma. They can get more insights out the door, better, faster, more, right? So they love it, and they want to move it through their procurement chain faster. So the deals that were in late stage pipeline actually accelerated for us.
Yeah.
The stuff that was in early stage, especially when the stuff started breaking out like the second week of March, the primary metric that I use to manage my business is net new meetings. Like, how many new people are we talking to where we're showing this technology and having meaningful business conversations? That definitely took a dip for us, where people were still trying to figure out their world, and they were less apt to accept a new meeting via an outreach from one of my reps or a BDR. That's starting to normalize now, but they definitely took a little bit of a dip back in the early week of March, the second week of March through the end of April.
Yes, I can see that, because budget was starting to become reassessed, that those already secure the okay to move forward on projects would probably want to accelerate that before it gets reconsidered and taken off the table. So yes, I think if you already got that project approved, you want to make sure you close it. And I am hearing a lot of budgets being on hold, hiring on hold, and everything is just kind of uncertain. So no one wants to commit at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a scary time. So how did you talk to your team about the situation? Obviously, the sales reps are very concerned about their quota, meeting deadlines, meeting quotas, and all that. So how did you manage your team?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, a lot of the folks that are on my team today are, probably didn't live through the 9/11 attacks, or, were younger when when the 2007, 2008 market downturn happened. So, I mean, this is unprecedented times, right? Where, for all of us, even if you've lived through those scenarios and we're in the professional workforce at that time. So, staying focused, staying grounded is really important. We have great backers at Sigma. So, they came to us very early on and let us know, we're behind you, keep moving forward. So the message that I sent to my team was, number one, obviously family first. Everyone's got to stay healthy, take care of your family, take care of yourselves, right? Be safe, be healthy. Number two, really came down to customers for us. I wanted my reps to reach out to our existing customers and understand how they were dealing with this crisis. Because we have a technology that can help them find new insights faster, let's get with them and see if they need any support. Let's get with them and see if they have any insights that they want to get out quickly. Maybe we can offer some solution engineers to help them. Then the third thing was, let's be realistic, right? Everybody's trying to deal with this crisis. Everyone's trying to find their footing. So being massively aggressive is probably not like the right thing. It would probably come off as tone deaf. Mm-hmm. So move forward with urgency and optimism, but be understanding of everybody's business realities right now, right? Let's listen and let's understand that we are a partner for our prospects, that we're trying to partner with them. So, be understanding, but continue to move forward with urgency and optimism, right? And the last thing really was regarding personal, right? Every rep has a business, and every business always needs a little tightening. All right, so we're home, instead of, we're out running. Before this, we were all out running around, doing events, doing meetings, like meeting partners, doing dinners. Now we're home. So it's an opportunity to tighten up your business, understand your prospects a little bit better, understand the buying personas, organize your lists, all right, and understand the outreach that you want to do that would have a personal touch that could be helpful, so that we can come out of this a little bit stronger, a little bit more organized, and better prepared for what lies ahead.
Yes, I think that's smart, to be compassionate, authentic, and try to understand how you can really help customers with their challenges. I do see an issue with quota, sales reps, pipeline, and all that. So are you making adjustments now? What have you adjusted in the numbers?
Not yet. I'm sure if my reps watch this, they're going to be very interested in this question. We haven't made any adjustments yet. I mean, we're just watching, see how our quarter ends end of April. So right now, the stuff that we have in late stage pipeline looks good for us to hit our number this quarter. Next quarter, we're looking at conversion rates. We're trying to understand how things convert. I'm working very closely with some of our board members as well in this regard. So I haven't down adjusted any numbers yet. We will see. We shall see.
Any changes in your outreach now that everyone is using online tools? Anything that you found to be actually effective in engaging with prospects?
Yeah, no. So, when this first happened, when the outbreak first happened, the following week, I must have gotten 24 emails from every company saying COVID this, COVID that, like trying to attach themselves to this. So I, as an organization, I wanted to be a little bit more sensitive to that, right? I wanted to make sure that we weren't like perceived as ambulance chasing this global crisis, and trying to add some real persona-based value. So one of the things that we did very early on, for the people that we did have existing connections with, whether they were prospects or customers, we did care packages, right? It was just like, we have this tool that allows us to send things to customers. So we sent these little care packages that were like, hey, we know this is an unprecedented time. It was like, honey tea and lozenges and like wellness care packages for folks who are now at home. And the response that we got, and there was no other ask than that. Hey, we're thinking about you. We're looking forward to when all this breaks so we can continue our business and continue working with you if you're a prospect or you're a customer. You're important to us, and here's a little something for you. The response to that was overwhelming. I mean, we got great response. Hey, thank you. Really appreciate it. Took a look at your website. The BI tool looks great. Really interesting to us. We're actually reevaluating our BI tools in June, and we'd love to get you in the mix there. So you're trying to be authentic. You're trying to understand the people that you're talking to, and you're giving them something as well. You're giving of yourself, or giving of our company. So that really was a good outreach, right? And we're also doing things regarding like very specific persona-based outreach that has been effective.
I think that's very smart that you sent a care package to your customers. Yeah. They did not hesitate to give you their home addresses, then, I take it?
Well, it's one of those things where you send it to their email address and they can accept it, and then they put in their home address. Okay. Or there's an option where you can, okay, no thank you for the present, but the dollar value of the package we're going to donate to COVID relief. So it's an option that they could have. And
that's a great idea.
Great response.
Okay. Yeah, kudos to you on that.
Yeah, kudos to our marketing team.
Marketing.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay. So any tips on career advancement or anything else that you would like to share with the audience on the sales front?
Yeah, no, I mean, look, from my perspective, I actually just had this experience this morning. I was really excited about this. So one of the reps that we had hired up in the Boston area, like I'd been talking to him, and one of the things that one of my mentors told me is that leaders always show up, right? You've got to show up. And that means sometimes when you don't feel like taking someone out to dinner or going to an event, you never know what will transpire as a result of you being there. Mm-hmm. Right. And this morning it all sort of coalesced in a really cool way. We had a webinar with a partner who we were introduced to at one point months ago. And the rep who is, trying to build the Boston business got connected to this partner, enabled them, took them to a Celtics game, right? Got technical resources aligned. And this partner delivered a webinar this morning with other technology partners of ours of 4 people. It was Snowflake, Fivetran, Sigma, and this consultancy Archetype. Delivered this like beautiful presentation where he started from scratch, the consultant from Archetype, started from scratch, loaded data through Fivetran into Snowflake, and did some beautiful modeling of this data set in Sigma, right? So it started from 0 and built an analysis viewpoint inside of an hour on a full new modern data technology stack. So it was like this perfect realization of what I've been telling my reps and telling anyone who moves into sales. You got to show up, right? You got to get the connections, and you have to follow through. And those types of things happen as a result. And I know we're going to be able to get business because of this connection that we made many months ago that resulted in this morning. So show up.
Thank you, Mike, for sharing your thoughts with us and the tips. And I love hearing about how your BI is helping businesses and also how you're helping your reps and your customers. Kudos to all of you.
Thank you, Jessica. It's great spending some time with you this morning.
There you have it. Take it up with Jessica Lee, Mike Gerardi from Sigma Computing.